I haven't done any tag videos before. Let's see how this one turns out. Hey guys, hope you're doing well. This video is something a little bit different. I've looked at a lot of tag videos in the past and I've always wanted to kind of, well, do one basically. But a lot of them have been, well, completely unrelated to what my channel is, and also a lot of them have basically just been ways to get views. Whereas for me, I don't really want to just do a video as clickbait. I want to be able to do a tag with a purpose. So I came across this tag a while ago and I thought that it was perfect because the reason it was created was to get the conversation started on the topic of gender. So this is the gender tag. There are 10 questions to answer, basically which touch on different aspects of a person's gender identity. I will leave the link to the original video in the description down below, as well as a list of the questions in case any of you would like to do this tag yourself. Right then, let's get started. How do you self-identify your gender, and what does that definition mean to you? I identify as a trans man or FTM person, which to me basically means that I was assigned female at birth, but I actually identify as male. What pronouns honour you? Or what pronouns do you use? I use he/him pronouns and occasionally sometimes use gender neutral pronouns such as they/them. Describe the style of clothing that you most often wear. I usually wear some sort of, well, graphic tee. I know I'm not wearing one right now, but something usually with some sort of patterns on it, as well as jeans or tracksuits and trainers. Usually a lot of my clothing is quite baggy because I use it as a way to hide the body shape that I have at the moment and hopefully make me pass more as male. Talk about your choices with body hair. How do you style your hair? Do you have facial hair? Do you choose to shave or not choose to shave? I currently let as much body hair grow as I possibly can, whether that's on my armpits, on my legs, stomach, whatever. Because at the moment, not being on testosterone, I don't actually have that much body hair, so I'm trying my best to make the most of the body hair that I have already growing on my body. Regarding my hair, I usually style it with some sort of matte clay sort of substances, but sometimes I just leave it and just put my hand through my hair like that and just make a bit of a quiff there. It grows quite quickly at the moment though. I usually quite like it shorter than this, so I usually have it quite close to the head and this bit is usually left long. Because like I said, I'm not on testosterone, I don't have any visible facial hair. I just have a sort of light bit of hair growing here above my lip and on the sides of my face. I do shave it, not to get rid of it, but as more of a therapeutic sort of thing, and also shaving it blunts the ends of the hairs, which makes them either more visible, like here, or just much more textured and easier to feel when you put your hands there, so to speak. Talk about cosmetics. Do you wear makeup? Do you paint your nails? What type of soaps and perfumes do you use, if any? I personally have worn makeup in the past. I've experimented with it, and I have a girlfriend who likes to put me in makeup, which honestly I'm not really opposed to. I'm open to the idea of trying out makeup and seeing the sort of fluidity I have within my own gender identity. I have painted my nails once, but I think I have rather feminine hands, and for me they just looked a little too feminine for me and I just kind of freaked out and took that off. When it comes to soaps and perfumes, as I said in a previous video, the one usual cologne I do use is one called Gold Digger, which is essentially a rip-off of the 1 Million fragrance. And I often use a lot of Lynx products as sort of shower gels and soaps. Have you experienced being misgendered? If so, how often? Yes, I have been misgendered. Used to be more so in the past before I was binding and before I had short hair. At the moment, a lot of it just happens at work, maybe once or twice a week. Not by my colleagues, thankfully, but by customers. Because usually when I'm talking to them, when I'm trying to be polite, my voice for some reason automatically goes a couple of octaves higher, and I think that's probably why. But usually when they do say, you know, oh, this lady's ready to serve you, or something similar, I just kind of look at them blankly and then they click and they correct themselves. And I also have a name badge, which, you know, Kieran isn't really, well, to any extent a very female sounding name. Do you experience dysphoria? If so, how does it affect you? Yes, I do. I think it's a relatively common thing for someone in the trans community to feel dysphoria. Some people don't, but for me, I definitely do. I personally would say it's kind of a coming and going, sort of in waves sort of ideal. Like sometimes I'll just feel kind of average about my body and I'll be fine, and then for some reason when I'm feeling really good about myself, maybe something will happen and then it just kind of crashes down like a wave and I just feel awful and I hate the way I look in the mirror, and I can't even walk past the mirror without thinking this isn't right, I don't look right. And in the end I just kind of sit at the computer and just kind of hope that I can distract myself from what's going on in my head. Talk about children. Are you interested in having children? Would you want to carry the child if it was an option for you? Do you want to be the primary caretaker for any children that you may have? For me, the idea of children does terrify me a bit, mainly because I struggle to be responsible for myself. So the idea of being responsible for another tiny life, it's not exactly very, well, I'm kind of scared, to be honest with you. But maybe my thoughts will change in the future. I mean, the partner I'm currently with, she's very interested in having children at some point in the future. So if I'm still with her at that point, when I decide, yes, okay, I would like children, then obviously that's going to have to see how it goes from there. And then obviously depending on the person I'm with, it would be very much the sort of juggling, you know, do I want a child that is biologically related to me? Would I be willing to go through all that science and spend like lots of money on sort of genetic stuff, or would I go maybe through adoption? I would not carry my child. I 100% wouldn't. Even if I was the only person in the relationship who could, I wouldn't. I can't. I have a lot of dysphoria regarding my internal bits and pieces. I really just want them gone. So being the one carrying the child, I just couldn't cope with that. Regarding care, like I said, I'm not a very responsible person, so I would have to say that I couldn't be 100% responsible for a child's life. If I were to be a parent, I would want the care of the child to be equal between me and my partner, so that we're able to take care of the child equally. Talk about money. Is it important to you to provide for a family financially if you choose to have one? Is it important to you that you earn more than your partner may have? Do you prefer to pay for things like dates? Are you uncomfortable when others pay for you or offer to pay for you? I was raised to appreciate the money I gained and to use it responsibly, so I definitely would say that being able to financially support a family is very important, because, well, you need to survive and we need to have a good quality of life. When it comes to earning money, I'm nonplussed about the idea of who earns more. I'm not going to be like, because I'm a man I must earn more. I'm very active in the sort of feminist community, and I definitely believe that everyone should be paid equally. So for me, I wouldn't mind if my partner and I, well, earn different amounts, or whether we earn the same, or if they earn more than me, then good for them. For me, it's more about doing a job that you love and makes you happy, and if that job pays me less than the person I'm seeing, then so be it. When it comes to, well, dates and stuff, I do like to pay for things occasionally. I'm a bit of a spoiler. I do like to spoil the person I'm with. But I also do occasionally like to be spoiled myself. I think we all do. So for me, I feel that it's perfectly fine for one of us to pay for a date and the other one not to, or what's going on. Mainly, I think it's more important to be, well, equal. I'm happy to pay for a date, but if the partner wants to pay for it or split the bill, then that's perfectly fine with me. When others offer to pay for me, sometimes I do feel a little bit guilty, because especially if, well, let's say they don't have as much money as I do and they're spoiling me, I don't have anything for them. But if someone's in a good financial situation and they're offering to kind of spoil me a little bit, then, you know, I'm happy for that, and I would definitely be thankful for that. Anything else you want to share about your experience with gender? I just want to say that being part of the trans community has sort of opened my eyes to basically the broader spectrum of gender identities, and I had no idea at the start of my transition how many identities there were and how fluid it was, and in the end I've learned to appreciate the spectrum, and I think it's actually quite a beautiful thing, the fact that gender is just so fluid and so flowing, and that it's not the two boxes that I was raised to believe. Obviously it makes things complex, and society can sometimes refuse to understand or doesn't know, and that can cause a lot of issues, but I think the fact that gender is so flowing and fluid, I think it's incredibly beautiful, and hopefully eventually society will learn that gender is a vast spectrum, and hopefully those who flow along it will eventually be respected and given the recognition for their identity that they deserve. So that's it. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really thought this was a good idea to do, mainly because of the fact that it is going to hopefully start a conversation on the topic of gender identity, and hopefully make society change its mind on the spectrum and human nature as a whole. So I will leave you, as I said, with the links to everything necessary in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!